Compared to other RPGs, Skyrim is not a game that offers the player many choices that can change the narrative or the fate of NPCs. But when it does, we can lean into some truly deplorable acts, like sacrificing our friend to an evil god, or slaughtering our beloved dragon bestie. So I wanted to test the boundaries and see what would happen if I made every single bad decision in the entire game. And that's what we're going to do today. What's up everyone, Big Dan here, and in this video, we're going to explore the worst playthrough ever of Skyrim, where I make every single bad decision imaginable and wreak absolute havoc in the homeland of the Nords. Now that that run-on sentence is concluded, let's buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and dive into the video. Creating a truly evil bastard starts with character creation, and staying in line with my other worst playthroughs, you know we had to bald up for this run. So meet Jack, a hairline-deprived Nord with bad face paint. We get things started by escaping the headsman's block, riding with Ralof, and making our way out of Helgen into the wider world of Skyrim. After tackling the early parts of the main quest and discovering we are Dragonborn, Jack takes on a contract to track down a Redguard fugitive in Whiterun. The woman in question, Saadia, is hiding in plain sight, working at the Bannered Mare Tavern. When we confront her about our contract, she flips the script and asks us to eliminate the mercenaries from Hammerfell. We are unable to definitively determine Saadia's guilt or innocence in the matter because we lack a smoking gun, so we are forced to either save Saadia or turn her into the mercs. But there is a little known third option that is the most cursed decision of all. If we lure Saadia to get captured by Kematu, but then kill her instead, we fail the quest and unlock some unique dialogue.
All that effort and you just kill her? You've ruined everything.
In this case, we ensure that no one gets what they want. Saadia is dead, Kematu loses out on a paying gig, and the Dragonborn gets no reward from either party, making this easily the worst outcome to the quest. In the town of Riverwood, we receive a quest to help tip the scales in a love triangle between the trader Camilla, the bard Sven, and the woodcutter Faendal. Sven and Faendal both have their eyes on Camilla, and both of them will ask the Dragonborn to deliver a forged letter that will cause Camilla to break things off with their rival suitor. In my opinion, Sven is clearly the worst choice out of the two. For starters, he lives with his mom, even though he has a full-time job playing bar gigs at the local tavern. But from a more practical standpoint, siding with Faendal allows us to power level archery for free, because we can pay him to train us, and then trade the gold back to ourselves after recruiting him as a follower. So in the end, I sided with Sven and ruined any chances Faendal had at love with Camilla.
It's a fine day with you around. He what? What are you talking about? Why, that jealous idiot. Thought he could just manipulate me into never seeing Sven again? Thank you for telling me the truth. You should speak to Sven. I'm sure he'll want to thank you too for defending his name.
You want to talk to me? After everything you've done?
I had also considered a third option of cucking both of these guys and stealing Camilla for myself in the truest breakdown of the bro code. But unfortunately, you can only get married once per playthrough in Skyrim, and there is another, even more cursed woman I had lined up for old Jack. But I have other plans for Sven later in this playthrough, so don't think he's just going to get the W in the end. While doing some exploration outside Whiterun, Jack stumbled upon a strange jester named Cicero with a broken down cart on the side of the road. Cicero asks us to help convince the nearby farmer, Lorius, to help him fix up his wagon so he can scurry off to his final destination. But the farmer has other plans. Creeped out by Cicero, Lorius asks us to falsely accuse the jester of a crime to help get him out of the neighborhood. If we decide to go along with this plan, we get a small reward of gold, but things eventually end badly for the bald farmer. You see, Cicero is in the Dark Brotherhood Assassin Guild, and he doesn't take kindly to being slighted. When we eventually meet him in the Brotherhood Sanctuary near Falkreath later in the game, Cicero alludes to what befell Lorius.
Oh, but you didn't help poor Cicero. You helped the stupid farmer, stupid Lorius. Oh, the guard said cruel things about us, untrue things. He said I was transporting weapons for the war in Mother's coffin. He made me Open it! Indignity! Sacrilege! Someone lied! Someone told the guard poor Cicero did something he did not! We were detained, delayed. The Night Mother kept from her new home. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? No, of course not. Because then Cicero would get angry. And that would be ugly. Now Lorius has learned the meaning of ugly.
Fast traveling back to the Lorius farmstead, we can discover a grisly scene, with both Lorius and his wife butchered in their own home. Hey, I guess that's what you get for lobbing false accusations at an unhinged assassin, making this the worst decision that Lorius ever made. But you know what's never a bad decision? Diving into the grimdark world of Warhammer with today's sponsor, Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus. If you're an enjoyer of strategy games like me, then you're gonna love stretching your mind with the turn-based tactical combat that Tacticus has to offer. And the best part is you can play for free on your mobile phone right now by clicking on my link in the description. Assemble a powerful fighting force from a selection of over 80 different champions from 18 distinct Warhammer 40,000 factions. My favorite champion is of course Lieutenant Titus from the Space Marine 2 collaboration. Titus is such a badass character, so it's awesome to get him on my team. What I really like about Tacticus is that there are a bunch of different game modes that cater to all types of player interests. Participate in PvE campaigns, test your mettle against other players in PvP live events, or collaborate with others in guild raids. And right now, my viewers can get a special bonus for free. Use code HELLOJAN by February 1st to receive a free welcome pack with 2,000 gold and 50 blackstones. Right now is the perfect time to dive into the world of Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus. So what are you waiting for? Click on my link in the description or scan the QR code to download Tacticus and start playing for free right now. We'll explore the worst choices involving the Dark Brotherhood later in the video, but for now, our next stop is Windhelm, where we embark on a murder investigation during the quest Blood on the Ice. There is a serial killer on the loose in Windhelm, and the guards are doing nothing to catch this cold-blooded murderer. Damn, he even killed the gorgeous tavern wench Susanna. A buxom lass like that is irreplaceable in Windhelm. The Dragonborn can pick up the investigation, eventually tracking down some of the killer's journals and some other evidence in a late victim's abandoned house. If we present this evidence to the local busybody, Viola Jordana, she will confidently state that the court wizard Woundfirth must be the killer. If we take her advice and immediately report him to the steward, then we complete the quest and the streets of Windhelm are safe once more. Or are they? Just days after making the arrest, we arrive back in town to discover another woman butchered in the streets.
My cousin's out fighting dragons, and what do I get? Guard duty. Indeed. I thought you captured the butcher. You said the city was safe now. How could this have happened? Obviously. You should visit the Bloodworks to talk to Woundfirth. We need to figure out where the evidence went wrong.
It seems we falsely accused someone of a crime for the second time this playthrough. Not a good look for our boy Jack.
Oh, isn't that a shame? And here I am in the Bloodworks. Looks like you aren't such a sharp investigator after all.
After talking to the court wizard, we can track down the real killer Calcelmo, but not before he claims another victim right before our very eyes. Due to the Dragonborn's shoddy investigation, 2 more women wind up dead before the killing spree is at an end. Well, you know what they say, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. So instead of tracking down killers, we decide to take an assassination contract from Aventus Aretino, who wants us to slaughter a defenseless old orphanage operator named Grelod. After sending her to Sithis, Jack gets kidnapped by a hot-ass blonde who asks us to kill one of 3 targets to make amends for stealing a Brotherhood contract. Not knowing who to choose, Jack decides to slaughter all 3.
Whoever this is.
Well, well. Aren't we the overachiever? 3 possibilities, 3 victims. Must have been one of them, right? So why take chances?
With this, our new life in the Brotherhood begins. We start things off with a difficult contract, taking down a mentally challenged beggar in the city of Iverstead, before moving on to our first real contract. Muri is an unhinged biddy working as an apothecary assistant in the town of Markarth. She asks us to knock off her ex-boyfriend, a bandit leader and scammer known as Elaine Dufont. But she also sweetens the deal by asking us to kill Nilsine Shattershield in Windhelm. Muri comes across as super vindictive and unhinged. Like, I understand wanting to take things out on the ex who wronged you, but the retaliation against Nilsine is purely driven by spite. The Shattershield family is already mourning the loss of one daughter who was killed by the Butcher just before we got to Windhelm. So for the Dragonborn to swoop in and kill another daughter is just diabolical, especially considering it's an optional objective for the quest. So naturally we take on the job. In the aftermath, Nilsine's mother ends up deleting herself as well, leaving the father Torbjorn as the last surviving member of the Shattershield family.
Both my daughters. Now my wife? How much is one man supposed to take? Got any ale or mead?
At some point, Cicero goes full-blown unhinged and starts attacking everyone in the sanctuary, fleeing to a different hideout near Dawnstar. After tracking down the Jester, we have the option to either spare or kill him. Now, I know a lot of you find Cicero annoying, but I think killing him is the wrong move here. For starters, he actually ends up being right about the Brotherhood, since Astrid cuts a deal with the Legion. I mean, bro had the foreshadowing that she was a rat bitch. Also, if we spare Cicero, we can bring him along as a follower, and Homeboy is absolutely cracked in combat. He's got some funny one-liners too.
He says to the man, "It's not a hoarder, that's my wife." I love that one.
Also, if you spawn in Lucien Lachance's ghost, our Oblivion Dark Brotherhood homie, he tells us not to kill Cicero as well. So yeah, I think killing Cicero is the worst move here, so you know what we gotta do.
Coming.
So let's speedrun the rest of the Dark Brotherhood questline. We kill the gourmet and take his place, kill a body double of the Emperor, and get betrayed by Commander Marrow. The sanctuary is destroyed, but we end up finding the real Emperor and killing him.
More I prove Commander Morrow the fool.
In the aftermath, we spare Gaius Morrow, but double-cross Amon Motier to snuff him out.
Oh, you assassins and your riddles. It really does get very annoying, you know. Now, if you'll excuse me. But we had a deal.
Finally, we report back to Nazir and lie about how much money we made, pocketing the profits, and doing nothing to rebuild the Dark Brotherhood. GG, Night Mother! One other cursed decision that we can potentially make is to destroy the Dark Brotherhood entirely. After getting kidnapped by Astrid, if we disobey her command and kill her instead, we unlock a new quest to report her death to a guard. Speaking to Commander Marrow, we receive a new objective to wipe out the rest of the Brotherhood. After dispatching with the whole gang, we report back to Marrow to receive 3,000 gold.
By all I hold holy, can it be true? Have you actually done it? This is a great day, my friend. You have struck a blow against darkness that will not soon be forgotten. Here, as promised, a most generous reward.
This is one of the worst decisions in Skyrim, not because wiping out a gang of assassins is morally bad, but because we miss out on some of the best quest content in the game, as well as some awesome loot we can receive during our Brotherhood journey. After wrapping up our work with the Brotherhood, Jack decides to put in work for a coterie of different Daedric gods throughout the realm. Our first quest is for Clavica's Vial, where we embark on a journey to reunite a dog named Barbas with his estranged master. Except in this case, the dog dog is a shape-shifting Daedra, and the master is the Daedric prince of trickery and bargains. After dealing with the absolute cursed pathfinding of Barbas and carrying out some menial tasks, we'll be presented with a final choice at the end of the quest. We can either kill Barbas at the command of Clavicus Vile, or convince him to reunite with the wayward pup. If you spare Barbas, you'll receive the Mask of Clavicus Vile, which buffs your persuasion and bartering abilities. On the other hand, if you kill Barbas, you'll receive the Rueful Axe, which is a badass looking two-handed weapon. However, its stats are kind of ass. Now I know Barbas isn't actually a dog, but it still feels bad to gank the furry little guy with a gigantic axe, which makes this one of the most cursed decisions in the game. The people of Dawnstar are being plagued by nightmares, and the root cause is inside Vermina's temple outside the city. The temple houses the Skull of Corruption, which a Mara priest named Erandur asks us to help him destroy. After learning of Erandur's history with Vermina and defeating the remaining orcs and priests inside the facility, we finally come face to face with the Skull of Corruption. At this point, Vermina starts speaking into our head and urging us to slay our Dunmer homeboy.
He's deceiving you. When the ritual's complete, the skull will be free, and then Erandur will turn on you. Quickly, kill him now. Kill him and claim the skull for your own. Vermina commands you.
Vermina is known by many names, including the Mistress of Nightmares and the Daedric Lady of Corruption and Decay. She is considered one of the more evil Daedric princes, yearning to feed off the nightmares and suffering of mortals. And while we receive a pretty cool staff for going along with her plan, choosing to betray Erandur and obey an evil mistress is definitely, like, not cool, man. Two evil gods obeyed, so let's keep this streak rolling by turning our main man Jack into a cannibal for the Daedric prince Namira. When we first enter Markarth's keep, we'll witness an argument between the local RK priest and a member of the Silverblood family over the controversial decision to close off the Hall of the Dead. Speaking to the priest, we'll learn the reason why.
We've discovered that some of the dead have been eaten. Flesh has been chewed off. Bones were snapped to get at the marrow inside. We haven't caught anyone or anything yet. It's like it knows when I'm there.
After investigating the tomb ourselves, we'll meet Eola, leader of a coven of cannibals that worship the Daedric prince Namira. She will ask us to clear out a nearby cavern and help set up a feast by luring Brother Verilus to unknowingly become a dish for the group. At this point, we can save Verilus by attacking the Namira cultists, or we can embrace our cannibalistic nature by taking part in the meal. After becoming part of the White Glove Society, we decide to send Sven packing and take on our lazy-eyed cannibal baddie as a follower.
Namira covets your ugliness.
Eola also likes to dabble in a bit of necromancy, which seems like an appropriate fit for our homeboy Jack. We also pick up a quest from a dude obsessed with the main villain cult in Oblivion. He asks us to retrieve the pieces of Mehrunes' razor, a powerful dagger. At the end of the quest, we have the option to betray Silus and slaughter him in the name of Mehrunes' Dagon. From a role-playing standpoint, I think killing Silus is a bad decision, because homeboy might be a little bit cringe, but he definitely doesn't deserve to get murdered. But let's be honest, we all ganked this dude to get the badass dagger as a reward.
Wait, don't kill me. There's another way. I can take the pieces back to my museum, seal them in a display case. You get a generous amount of gold, I get to complete my collection, and nobody has to die. Fine. I'm not dying without a fight. Never should have...
I am pleased, mortal. I will give you my razor. Use it to wreak havoc on Tamriel. Spare me your pitiful pride. You are but a tool of my ambitions, mortal. Never forget that. Place your hands on my altar one last time, and you will witness the power of Mehrunes' Dagon for yourself.
Back to the main story. After running some tasks for the Greybeards and meeting that bitch Delphine, Jack is tasked with infiltrating the Thalmor Embassy to discover more information about the return of the dragons. While the mission is relatively linear, there are a few opportunities to up the lives of 3 different NPCs, so naturally we're going to take advantage of that. For starters, if we employ Erandur from Solitude to create a distraction for us, then the Dunmer barmaid will get her ass tossed into the dungeon.
Don't worry, my dear. I will make any necessary excuses to your employer.
No, I'm sorry, but I can't go anywhere with you. I won't. Please, I must get back to my duties.
Don't you dare walk away from me, you slut! Do you know who I am?
Please, sir. Leave me alone.
Now you're going to be sorry you crossed me. Elenwen, this servant girl has been throwing herself at me in a most disgusting manner.
Is that so, Erica? And you with such delicate sensibilities. It must have been most upsetting.
I demand that you have this wench removed from my presence at once.
Well, whatever the truth of it, I'm sure a few words with Master Relindel will have a salutary effect. Take her downstairs.
Yes, Madam Ambassador. Mistress Elenwen, it's not true. I did nothing. Sir, you must tell her. You don't know what they'll do to me. Please. What did you tell him? Why did you do this to me? What? Why? But you must have said something to Erandur. You lied to him and now here I am. You're a heartless monster.
After sneaking into the embassy and fighting our way through the Thalmor, we discover an imprisoned member of the Thieves Guild down in the dungeon. If we pretend to be a torturer there to extract more information out of him, then ATN will hate us forever. So at this point, we might as well just put him out of his misery. Our accomplice Malburn will also get caught by the Thalmor, but instead of stepping in to help him, we just let the Thalmor put in work on the poor wood elf. After getting the info we needed, we say our final goodbyes to the barmaid, left her in jail, and made our way back to Delphine. At this point, we need to return to the Greybeards to learn more about Alduin and the dragon threat, at which point we finally get to meet Paarthurnax, the badass Zen dragon chilling at the tallest peak in Skyrim. After fetching an Elder Scroll and learning Dragon Rend, we are tasked with negotiating a peace council so that we can convince Jarl Balin to let us trap a dragon in his castle. After the council is complete, that bitch Delphine asks us to kill our homeboy Paarthurnax. So naturally we oblige, since this is the worst playthrough ever.
This is how you repay our trust. Paarthurnax's trust, his noble spirit, the wisdom of ages, his deep understanding of our existence, all gone? And for what? A mindless vendetta urged on you by a cabal of Akaviri barbarians. Begone, before even my philosophy is tested beyond the breaking point. We are men of peace, and you are not.
Have you decided to do the right thing, Dragonborn? I knew we could count on you. Glad to have you back on our side.
At this point, we decide to join another faction since things went so well for us in the Dark Brotherhood. So we link with our mentally deficient homie in Riften and get things started with the Thieves Guild. Our first major job is to infiltrate Golden Glow Estate, steal the bill of sale, and burn down part of the farm to send a message.
We need you to teach him a lesson by burning down 3 of the estate's hives and clearing out the safe in the main house. The catch is that you can't burn the whole place to the ground. That important client Mercer mentioned would be furious if you did.
Oops, my finger slipped. I think I might have gone a bit too far.
You've made a mess of things, and Maven's furious. I told you not to burn more than 3 of the hives. I've smoothed things over with her for now, but you can forget your cut.
Mercer Frey will also give us a gig to extract information from a shifty Argonian in Solitude. And I didn't even know this was possible, but you can actually just kill this guy. I thought he was an essential NPC or something, but alas.
You mind swinging that somewhere else?
I thought it was painfully obvious that Gullumai was important to the guild. I'm sorry to say your payment for the job will have to go elsewhere since you feel like taking things in your own direction.
Killing Golemai is also cursed because you lose out on a merchant who has a base stock of 4,000 gold. It gets hard to offload all your loot in this game because all the merchants in Skyrim are broke asses, so losing out on this dude limits our wealth building opportunities. The rest of the Thieves Guild questline is linear, but I think completing it and joining the Nightingales is cursed in and of itself. You're literally selling your soul and taking an eternal job as a bouncer in this dusty-ass crypt. For what? To save a ratchet-ass group of thieves hanging out in the sewers? No thanks, buddy. So naturally, we go through with the whole thing, including returning the skeleton key to Nocturnal. During the quest, Forsworn Conspiracy, we stir up some trouble in Markarth and end up getting our ass tossed in prison. At this point, we have to make a choice. Side with the Forsworn leader, Modonok, or kill him. I decided to side with the homie to stir up a bit more chaos and killing in Markarth. You know, make sure the region is destabilized for years to come with a bloody guerrilla war. We also ransacked the Temple of Dibella on behalf of the beggar Dagain. He asked us to steal a golden statue from their inner sanctum, and in the course of doing so, we come to a confrontation with the priestesses.
Your transgression will be forgiven. So be it. We gave you a choice.
I also muscled out the owner of a silver mine in Karthwasten, forcing him to sell his assets to the Silverblood family.
No, this is my land. You expect me to just hand it over to those Silverblood thugs? Easy, I'll sell. Just don't hurt anyone.
Big business and monopolization wins again. Finally, I snitched on Augment to the Thalmor just to screw over as many people in Markarth as possible. But at this point, our main man Jack was getting a little bit lonely, so he decides to find himself a wife. And who better than that unhinged woman we met in the Dark Brotherhood questline?
Thank you again for resolving my problem. Well, yes, why wouldn't I be? Are you interested in me? It's settled then. Brief as life can be in Skyrim, at least we'll have each other.
I also installed a mod to adopt Avensis Aretino, so we have a family bet going on who will hire a hitman to take out the Dragonborn first. My money's on Muri because she already had her ex-boyfriend murdered. So we got a nice little cursed family going for Jack. Back to the grind, we screw over the local stable boy in Riften who got scammed by Sapphire from the Thieves Guild. Instead of getting her to forgive his debt, we asked for a cut ourselves.
Back off. This action's all mine. No room for anyone else in the guild on this one. Why should I bother? I've already made a bunch of coin off of his shipments, so anything else I squeeze out of him would be a bonus. Oh, wait a second. I see what this is. You want me to cut you in, or you'll rat me out to Brynjolf. Tell you what, I'll give you a share right now if you forget the whole thing. Now you're talking. Oh, if you see Shadr, remind him he still owes me that debt.
Any luck with Sapphire? Oh. Well, thanks for trying, I suppose. I'll just have to come up with the coin somehow.
We also take a job from Louis Letrush in Riften, who asks us to retrieve a horse that he bought from Maven's son, Sibbi Blackbriar. Yo, I think Sibbi scammed you, bro. We decide to steal the horse and bring it back to Louis, but not before snitching on him to Maven.
Don't tell me. Sibbi and Louis Letrush? Well, Sibbi is in jail, and Letrush is certainly welcome to try. My hired help is more than a match for him. Really? Now that is interesting. Then you should know that Louis and I have a certain history. Tell you what, go along with his plans for now. I'll keep an eye on you both, and when the time is right, I'll settle accounts with Louis.
We give Louis the horse, losing out on a nice quest reward, but that horse will literally be the death of him. Now, I didn't successfully get this encounter to trigger in my playthrough, but if you rat him out to Maven, you'll have a random encounter later in the game where a group of thugs approach Louis and kill him for stealing the horse from Maven.
Maven sends her regards, Letrush.
No! How did you find me? Just give me more time. I can pay Maven back.
We also took a private investigation gig from Sibbi Blackbriar, ratting out his ex-fiancée who is holed up in a tavern in Iverstead.
Please, I beg you, don't tell Sibbi where I am. He'll kill me. Sibbi's been spreading lies about me. You must hear me out.
Sibbi and I were to be married. We were supposed to be happy together forever. Then I found that wretched poetry from Svana. When I confronted Sibbi about it, he threatened to kill me. I was scared, so I told my brother Wulfur. He went to talk to Sibbi for me and Sibbi killed him. My brother wasn't even armed. When I heard what Sibbi did, I fled. And now you've found me, and you're going to tell him where I am.
Good. Good. Just point me in the right direction and I'll do the rest. Iverstead? So close to Riften? She's an even bigger fool than I thought. You've done me a great service, my friend. Allow me to compensate you for the information.
Nothing of real consequence happens in the game, but you can imagine he'll have her killed for how their relationship ended.
You and me, we're the only people around who aren't complete fools.
Exploring the open world, we eventually stumble upon a group of Boethiah cultists. They ask us to bring a trusted companion to sacrifice to the Daedric god, and I think I know just the person. Hey, Sven! Time for us to travel together again, buddy. Just stand over there real quick.
Okay, got it.
With friends like these, who needs enemies? The final Daedric quest I did in this playthrough is Ill Met by Moonlight, where we have to hunt down a werewolf named Sinding for the god Hircine. Sinding was in jail for the murder of a child, which happened when his werewolf form took over. We can either spare Sinding by killing Hircine's hunters, which earns us a ring that increases our own werewolf powers, or we can kill Sinding, which gets us a shitty-ass armor set. I'm a bit torn on this one because on the one hand, Sinding did kill a child, so he probably should be punished for that, but on the other hand, he didn't intend to do it. He just kind of turned into a werewolf because of the full moon, and it was just a wrong place, wrong time kind of deal. So I typically spare Sinding, but on this playthrough I decided to kill him, both because it seems somewhat unjust, and because we get a shittier reward. The last thing I wanted to do in the base game was take a side in Skyrim Civil War. Initially, I was planning to side with the Stormcloaks, as I saw them as a racist faction that only cared about the Nords. But after playing through the quest, I saw another side of the Stormcloaks that differed from my memory of them in my past playthroughs. Most of the Stormcloaks are just fueled by a hatred for what they see as a weak emperor who bowed to the Aldmeri Dominion at the expense of Skyrim. Hell, worshipping the Nords god Talos was even outlawed by a treaty signed by this emperor. So clearly the Empire is willing to sacrifice the interests and traditions of the Nords to preserve their own waning power, all the while asking for undying loyalty from Skyrim's people. On the other hand, siding with the Empire seems to lead to a greater weakening of Skyrim. Talos worship will continue to be banned, and the Empire really stands no chance against the Dominion. There really is no clear-cut good side in the Civil War, which is what I think makes the plotline so compelling. But in the end, Jack ganked his Nord homie Ulfric and handed over Skyrim to the Empire. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Alright, let's talk about the Dawnguard DLC. I decided to side with the vampires over the Dawnguard because, I mean, they're vampires. They attack people and turn them into thralls or a blood supply. They pose a threat to the people of Skyrim, so siding with them over the Dawnguard is cursed. Being a vampire is pretty badass though. I also plan to take the quest where we convert our wife into a vampire, but sadly, I discovered that Muri is one of the NPCs who cannot be converted. So here's some footage of me turning Camilla into a vampire in a previous playthrough.
Something's happened. I can't quite remember. I don't feel right. I'm going to lay down for a while. I never knew the darkness held such colors, or the night air smelled so sweet. You have given me a great gift.
Poring over the quest list for the Dragonborn DLC, I realized there aren't really any significant choices you can make in the expansion, aside from maybe whether or not you spare Raylis Sedaris at the end of the Unearthed quest. I'm kind of indifferent as to which is the worst choice in that scenario, since on the one hand the guy did murder a bunch of his workers, but on the other hand he was kind of possessed, so it wasn't his intent. So I think this is a good place to wrap up the video. There you have it. We've explored the worst playthrough ever of Skyrim and unleashed the bald Nord Jack to cause mayhem throughout the region. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more bad choices and RPG videos. And remember to download Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus by clicking on my link in the description or scanning the QR code. Don't forget to use code HelloJan by February 1st to receive a free bonus pack. Big shout out to Snowprint Studios for sponsoring this video. And as always, big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.